This call is being recorded.
4535. Once again, that's 614-556-4535 so that you can join in on the call. Because if you're listening on Spreaker right now, I can speak, but you won't be able to participate in the conversation. But if you're satisfied in just listening to me, by all means, do that. You're more than welcome. But we're about to kick this thing off up into full gear because we are on an Uber conference call, and we are on Google Hangouts. So those of you that's on Google, you can find the Hangout. Just go to Brother Hatim, go to Hatim Gye-Nyame, and you'll be able to see where the Hangout is. I'm about to share the screen on all devices so that you can see. You won't be able to see on Spreaker, but if you go to my invitation on Facebook, you'll be able to click on the article that I'm going to be reading from, okay? So I'm posting it up right now on the Hangout and on Uber Conference. So bear with me for 1 second while I share on. So now we get busy. All right. So, my fault. I forgot to push one more button. Then we off to the race to present to everyone. That's right. So here we go. Now we're off to the races. This is Brother Hatim once again coming at you live and direct. This is Gye-Nyame Journey, and this show right now that you're listening to is Folk Tales for Grown Folks. Actually, this is my most popular show. I'd like to thank all those that are taking the time to make this show what it is. And also, I want to thank those who's been helping me far as overcoming my attachment to tobacco. I really want to thank you for that because of you and some of you checking me when you see me, because I had a brother walk up to me at Kroger's that I went to high school with. You know what I'm saying? And he said, "Hi, hey, bro, how you doing on your commitment?" I'm walking with bottles of liquor in my hand, and people know what go hand in hand with liquor. You know what I'm saying? Them cigarettes. But I've been holding strong now. So I want to thank all those. I want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you for your strength. I want to thank you for your thoughts. I want to thank you for your prayers. And everybody out there that's on the journey with me that is not that's trying to quit something, more power to you. All right. So I've been getting some interest in the idea that I have as far as the apartment complex, and I want to thank those that are seriously thinking about participating. But like I said, the one thing I'm not doing is I'm not just taking donations. And, this is why. I believe that we all have something to trade. You know what I'm saying? I have my books. I have my articles. I have my shows that you can listen to, and if you want to, you can drop something in the tip jar. I'm not asking for donations. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking for you to support the business that I do, as far as the podcast, the shows. When I have courses, you can support those. And like I said, man, I'm pushing one step at a time because I don't believe in the just giving piece. Because when you just give, what that does is that puts an unfair burden on the person that's just giving because they don't receive anything for what they're giving. They get a sense of feeling good, but I want to give you more than that. But then you put an unfair amount of burden on the person that is receiving the gift, right? Because I've seen this over and over again. People give, and then you have those people that might just give $10 and then turn around and try to ruin everything because they want to prove that the person wasn't doing with the $10 what they gave them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not falling into that trap. So go and purchase something. You know what I'm saying? Purchase the meditation CD. You know what I'm saying? Support by buying the book, the Gye-Nyame Journey workbook, as far as the Proverbs and Tribal Quotes. You know what I'm saying? Support by purchasing the Player's Pyramid or the Warrior Handbook. Somebody just joined me on the call. I want to thank whoever it is. I'm going to read the story. We're going to get into it. But right now, I'm updating people on where I am as far as buying the property. So right now, I have raised exactly 55 cents. So now I only need to probably make another $5,999,999.50. So my fault, 45 cents. So you can have an accurate account of how close we are to getting this apartment complex. All right, you know what I'm saying? Because now, and this the piece. It ain't just the fact that I could do it. It's the fact that you could do it too. Because the idea I have for apartment complex might not fit your idea for the apartment complex. So you could do the same thing. Because the piece is, as black people, you know what I'm saying? I'm a person that if I have a good idea, I don't mind if you run off with it. You know, every now and then send me a shout out, let me know, hey, we got this idea, brother. I have to boom, boom, boom. If this even originated with me, because one thing I do know is that when the universe puts something out, universe put it out. You know what I'm saying? And when I get inspiration, other people get inspiration. Have you ever heard somebody say something that you felt came right out of your mouth? You know what I'm saying? And you know that there's no way that they really heard you say it. I mean, I was running today and I was listening to the sister talk about sisters just giving away immortality. And I said, there's no way that this woman heard me. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying that for the last 3 years, maybe longer than that. And I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So the universe is a marvelous place. All we got to do is plug into the energy and just start running with it. All right? So let me see who's on the line. Who's on the line? Hello? You shy? What's going on? All right, cool. I want to thank whoever it is.
Janice. Sorry, Janice Rowley. Hi, T.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's the teacher herself.
Hey.
I am blessed, baby. How you doing?
I'm good. Everything's cool.
Hey, man. Hey, it's good to hear your voice. And
I saw that post. I saw that post of that building the other day and chuckled. I said, "You've been jogging past that?" And yep. So yeah. And then I saw the number right after that. I said, "Oh yeah, I'll be there, right there." So here I am.
Right now, but for those that don't know who this is a sister that's known as the teacher on the internet, and she's been working with young people and introducing them to literature as well as life lessons. She's one that's struggling with our kids. And I remember, I'll never forget a quote that I got from you one time. It said, it's hard to teach kids that haven't been raised at home.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm seeing that every day, man. But I mean, hey, but it's the truth. It's the truth of the matter. And I just want to make sure you know that I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you're doing in the city where you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I love you.
Love you
but
too.
Now let me read this proverb, and then you go drop some of your wisdom on it, because I call it wisdom mining. So I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna read what I got. I don't know if you on the phone or are you on a computer?
I'm on the phone.
Okay, so more than likely you won't be able to see the screen. But on the screen, I just messed up somehow.
Ooh, don't mess nothing up.
All right, here we go. It's called The Fox and the Woodcutter. Now, once again, I always stress that these folk tales are not for kids. For those that don't really understand the history of Aesop, you really need to study the history of Aesop, his struggle, because he started basically at the bottom of society, just like we are right now, and rose up to a point of prominence. And his writings or his stories were some of the first books used to educate people, far as not just memorizing the story, but far as being able to think about life. So this one is called The Fox and the Woodcutter. A fox running before the hounds came across a woodcutter felling an oak and begged him to show him a safe hiding place. The woodcutter advised him to take shelter in his own hut. So the fox crept in and hid himself in a corner. The huntsman soon came up with his hounds and inquired of the woodcutter if he had seen the fox. He declared that he had not seen him, and yet pointed all the time he was speaking to the hut where the fox lay hidden. The huntsman took no notice of the signs, but believing his word, hastened forward in the chase. As soon as they were all away, the fox departed without taking any notice of the woodcutter. Whereon he called to him and reproached him, saying, "You ungrateful fellow, you owe your life to me, and yet you leave me without a word of thanks." The fox replied, "Indeed, I should have thanked you fervently if your deeds had been as good as your words, and if your hands had not been traitors to your speech." Oh my God. All right, we about to hit this one. Now, so first off, we got several characters in this one. Now, we got the fox, we got the woodsman, we got the huntsman, right? Now, so we got once again. Now, this is the second time we done ran into a woodcutter or somebody that's working in the woods, and for some reason, I don't think Aesop likes people in that profession, because this is the second time he has basically painted this type of person as like a coward. You know what I'm saying? Because the fox ran up to the woodcutter, and rather than the woodcutter chasing the fox away, rather than being honest with the fox and being like, "I don't want to help you," rather than basically standing up to the fox and be like, "Dude, you better just go on about your business," he offered the fox, in a sense, his silence, he allowed him to run into his house. But when the huntsman came up on this woodsman, the woodsman in one tone was lying with his mouth, was speaking with his mouth and lying with his mouth about how he didn't see the fox because he didn't want the fox to see the betrayal. But with his body, he was betraying the fox. The huntsman didn't cast a signal, but the fox was watching him the whole time. Now, and it makes you wonder, why did the woodsman strive to help the fox in the first place? And then let's bring this back. Let's bring this to us, right? So now the hunter and the hounds roll off because they didn't cast a signal. The fox come out the house and he leaves, but when he's leaving, he hears this man who had just betrayed him. And many of us have been in this situation. This man who had betrayed him, stabbed him in the back, had the nerve to say to him, "How are you going to leave without saying anything? You haven't even said thank you to me." And the fox basically read him the riot act. You know what I'm saying? Dude, you know, I would have thanked you if your body had not betrayed, if your hands have not betrayed your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And many of us live in these situations where we have individuals who really don't want to help us. You know what I'm saying? To say, you know, with their mouth, they say that they want to help us. Now, one of the major lessons that come out of this is that 93% of a person's communication is done with the body. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we have to start making sure that we're paying attention to everything that an individual is saying, because a person will say things with their words, but with their bodies, they will tell us the truth. You know what I'm saying? Did somebody else come on, or did?
I'm on the computer.
Oh, okay, cool. And the piece that I'm trying to get across to us, because now, first off, let's look at ourselves from each position. So we'll skip the fox, because the fox plays several roles, because especially in our community, the fox plays several roles, because in a sense he's running for his life. So in a sense, the fox is like the illegal. Let's say that, even though he didn't do nothing but was a fox. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of like being black, but you will come back to that in a minute, right? Now, but the woodsman was somebody who was ingenuous. The huntsman was somebody that was, for a lack of better words, a liar and a coward. And this type of individual, when you have this type of individual in your circle, you can never build nothing. Because I want y'all to understand, as far as the black community, now this happens in all communities, but I got to speak to my people. in our community, we are surrounded by woodsmen. We are surrounded by woodcutters. You know what I'm saying? Individuals who will tell us with their mouth that they are in full support of what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Individuals with their mouths who will say, hey, hey, that's a good idea. The individuals in our community will be like, you're doing an excellent job with those kids. Individuals who will look us in our face and all the sincere words and in the sincere tones speak to us as if they're trying to help us, but with their bodies, but with their bodies, if you really look at them, they are betraying us. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the piece that you have to start understanding. Like I said earlier, 93% of a person's communication is done through the body, and we need to start learning to really look at individuals and really start to trust our intuition. You know what I'm saying? Because there's certain things, like for example, it's certain things that because of my college experience, right, in dealing with people, it's like I'm learning to listen to the female energy a little bit more, because it's like females are a lot better at picking up on some of these signals than men. Now, because listen, I done had people tell me, I done had sisters tell me about individuals, and I didn't believe it. But it's like when you ask them how they knew, they watched this individual, and they could see them talking to me, but then they could see the insincerity in their body language. All right, now, before I go any farther, teacher, you want to say anything about this one?
No, I'm good. You're good.
All right, cool. All right, so here we go. So now, as we're looking at this woodsman, right? We need to get rid of all the woodsmen in our circle. You know what I'm saying? Because the woodsman, and then I'm gonna even take it deeper. Now, I'm gonna take it even farther. Y'all ready for this? Because I don't want to. I don't mind insulting people. But the woodcutter is symbolic to me at this point in time of what we call the black community. Listen, the woodcutter right now is symbolic of the black community. All right, now, but I'm gonna come back to that in a little bit later, because in a sense, I mean, we insincere. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. What other community in the world will allow what's been going on to happen to just continue? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like there's no repercussions, but I'm going to leave that alone. You know what I'm saying? We just going to keep on cutting wood. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut wood, and we're going to be satisfied with what we've been getting. All right, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's look at this fox dude. This fox is being pursued for no other reason other than he's a fox. And this huntsman don't want nothing but his coat, because I don't even think you eat fox when you catch them. They just chasing the fox for sport. Right. This is what huntsmen do, or police. I mean, did I say police? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. The huntsman is just looking for the fox, right? And the fox is looking for a place to hide. He runs up on the woodcutter, and he asks the woodcutter to hide him. Now, the woodcutter. Now let's just expand it a little bit. The woodcutter, the fox is a nuisance probably, because the fox is probably sneaking in his house anyway, probably stealing food up out of his house, because the fox is nothing but an overgrown rat. I do need y'all to understand that. It got a pretty coat, but really the way the fox lives is like a rat. It eats rats and things like that, but it's a nuisance to people who have small farms, because a fox will go up into a small farm or into like this woodsman place and kill his chickens. You know what I'm saying? Will eat the eggs. Any food that's left open or around, this dude is gonna get it. If the woodcutter has rabbits in his yard, this fox is gonna find a way to get him. The fox is a nuisance. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like some of the brothers in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? The fox is a nuisance, right? So when the woodsman has the opportunity to be honest with this fox, dude, you're not gonna run up in my crib, because I already know what you do in my crib. I already know you raise hell every time you come into my neighborhood. You raise hell every time you come into my community. You raise hell every time you come into my house. You stealing, you breaking stuff, you're chasing my chickens, you're eating my food. You know what I'm saying? And you're causing as much damage as you can. Rather than the woodsman being honest with his fox and in a sense, letting his fox know, listen, dude, you're not going to come here. You might as well run the other way. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? I hope he don't catch you, but in a sense, I do hope he catch you. He opens up and say, come on in. You know what I'm saying? So now we got the dumb police officer. My fault. We got the dumb huntsman. You know what I'm saying? All brawn, no brains. I mean, we kind of familiar with some of these type of officers, right? These hunters, right? All brawn, no brains. They just doing it for sport. You know what I'm saying? He's not quick enough to catch that the dude is lying. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, I haven't seen the fox, but yet he's pointing into the house. He's pointing. He can't catch the signal. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy is that this woodsman wanted both ways. Do we have people in our lives like that? That want it both ways. They want to be friends. They want to be friends with you, but at the same time they can't stand you. But they trying to hold on to the friendship just in case, I guess, maybe if you make a come up. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you might hit the lottery. I for the life of me, I have not figured out why some people want to have it both ways. I hate you, but I don't want to let you go. I mean, we even got people that's in relationships like this. I don't want to let this. I don't want to let this man go. I don't want to let this woman go because, you know, they might do some good. You know what I'm saying? So it's sort of like, this is sort of like the relationship that this woodcutter has with this fox. At least, you know, I might be expanding, but, you know, it's my show. I can expand. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, the woodcutter just needs to be, the woodcutter needs to stand up and be a man, basically. And I'm thinking that profession wasn't that respected back then. You know what I'm saying? And then, and he needed to be honest with the fox about his ways. And he might have needed to take that axe and cut the fox's head off himself. You know what I'm saying? Because they have nice coats. He probably could have made some money from it, but that's not what he does. So then we have the dumb huntsman who can't catch a clue. You know what I'm saying? Who just do what huntsmen do, right? This is what they do. This, you know, I'm violent. This is what I do. I'm just trying to kill a fox for sport. I'm hunting a fox for no other reason than that he's a fox. So, and I mean, for me, let me say this. I always got to realize, I mean, every time I read one of these, man, and I'm like this, I'm kind of upset because I'm just now being introduced to Aesop fables at the age I am, where at least where, you know, because if we look at some of these fables is almost like homeboy's talking about any and all times. He's talking about all people. And he's using these little animals. He's using these little symbols, man, that all you got to do is look at them and you can see how society works and at least get some idea on how to deal with it. Now, first off, community, my fam, listen, let's start being honest with one another. You know what I'm saying? Let's stop hanging with people that we don't like. I mean, let's start being honest. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really, let's not be woodcutters. You know what I'm saying? Let's be men and women and start being honest with each other. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't like the fox, if you don't like the foxes, you know what I'm saying? Tell the foxes to get the hell away from you. Tell the foxes they're not welcome in your home and they're not welcome on your street. You know what I'm saying? Stand up. Because the only way we're going to stop a lot of this stuff that's going on in our neighborhoods, because this is the issue for me. You know what I'm saying? Because at first I was mad because we say Black Lives or Fox Lives Matter. I'm going to split. Fox Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? But Fox Lives Matter, it seems only Fox Lives Matter when the huntsman is killing them. But when other foxes are killing them, nobody gives a damn. You know what I'm saying? And at first I was mad about that, but then I started thinking about it because in a sense, all people kill each other. I ain't gonna say we got the right to kill each other, but hey, that's something that we got to settle. But the issue for me is this. And it's like this. I could fight with my brother all day long. Me and many of my brothers. I could fight with them all day long. But somebody from the outside of my family can't fuck with my brothers. They shouldn't be able to do that. There should be some type of consequences. You know what I'm saying? Now, first off, the woodsman, back to the woodsman, he ain't got no way to give either one of these individuals consequences. Because let's explain this. Because both these individuals trespassed on this man's land without showing him any respect. You know what I'm saying? This man, the huntsman is coming through chasing the fox with hounds, a horse, and they just running through his land without any respect. The fox is running on his land without any respect. Nobody even asked this man, can I come to your community? Sound kind of familiar, don't it? Can I come to your house? Can I ride by your house? Can I come with you? You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is what happens in our community every day. But I'm going to stop because I'm like, yo, this is an okay one. It's not one of my favorites, but the piece is, it can be used to kind of talk about the relationships that we have in the community, and it can be used to kind of look at what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Teach, come on now. Tell me out. I'm struggling.
Wait till my phone stops ringing. I'm about to say something.
See, she busy, y'all. She got students calling her even in the
ringing. I
first
want
time.
to talk because it's bothering me. Let me say this, Hatem. Because my focus is on kids, I'm generally very critical of adults, and this story that you're telling is incredibly powerful because until Black lives matter to Black people, Black lives don't really matter.
Right.
And I think a lot of people can articulate what's wrong, but this story that we're in the midst of is incredibly appropriate. And one of the things about Aesop's fables that's amazing to me all the time is that it was written when it was written. And historically, it has application repeatedly. And like you said, to a variety of communities. But we have to be clear about the fact, like you said, fox are like, things and people do what they do. We have to be very, very clear about what needs to be done so that we can direct everything around us and in us. And so this is powerful.
We've been joined by the traveler brother D. You on the phone, man? Oh man,
yeah, I'm here.
You up on the hangout, girl? Hey, you looking good. Hold on, let me put her up there. Oh my God!
Now see,
hey, your living room big as my house, girl. A little humble, I ain't even sure. But hey, brother D is on the line. Go ahead, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Hey, so you joined us on Uber Conference, or are you on the hangout?
Yeah, so the hangout didn't want to work out for me, so I had to do the Uber Conference.
Okay, did you hear the story?
I caught the last bit of it.
All right, I'm gonna read it just for you, but I'm gonna let Miss Janice go and finish her point because because like these tales, man, these folk tales are not just for kids, and we got to stop letting people fool us like this because our ancestors, in a sense, left us jewels. But the only thing we got to do is be able to go through. We got to do this wisdom mining. That's why I call it wisdom mining because our ancestors had the wisdom because it can't become wisdom until wisdom is discovered. Wisdom is not given. You know what I'm saying? You got to find it. So our ancestors, through the rituals, through the symbols, through the stories, through the through all the things they left us. They gave us. When you
call something a folk tale, you're talking about the tradition of a people. When you get into those folk dances and things like that, these are things that pass along heritage, pass along messages that are supposed to be gleaned by everyone in the community.
All right, dude. That's why. That's why they call you the traveler. That's pretty good. I mean, I ain't got nothing to say to that one. All right, so here we go for you. A fox running before the hounds came across a woodcutter, felling an oak, and begged him to show him a safe hiding place. The woodcutter advised him to take shelter in his own hut. So the fox crept in and hid himself in a corner. The huntsman soon came up with his hounds and inquired of the woodcutter if he had seen the fox. He declared that he had not seen him, and yet pointed all the time he was speaking to the hut where the fox lay hidden. The huntsman took no notice of the signs, but believing his word, hastened forward in the chase. As soon as they were well away, the fox departed without taking any notice of the woodcutter. Whereon he called to him and reproached him, saying, "You ungrateful fellow, You owe your life to me, and yet you leave me without a word of thanks. The fox replied, indeed, I should have thanked you fervently if your deeds had been as good as your words, and if your hands had not been traitors to your speech. Damn. I try to keep this show clean, but oh my God.
Woo!
Gotta know what you're looking at.
Indeed, I should have thanked you fervently if your deeds had been as good as your words, and if your hands had not been traitors to your speech. You know, that is a line that I'm going to teach to my kids at the school so that they can start saying that to adults.
Yep.
Indeed, I should have thanked you fervently if your deeds had been as good as your words, and if your hands had not been traitors to your speech. You know what I'm saying? Because our actions betray. I mean, it's like I said, we are the woodsmen, man. We are the cowards. I'm just saying metaphorically. You know what I'm saying? That as a community, we act as this woodsman is acting. You know what I'm saying? I'm felling this oak. The oak can't fight back. So I'm cool as long as I'm able to fell something that don't fight back. But as soon as I have an opportunity to stand up for myself, what I do? You know what I'm saying? Rather than dealing with the fox, which is a small animal that I can deal with myself, I allow him to come up in my house. I'm not comfortable with him being in my house, so rather than me removing him from my house, I'm hoping that the huntsman can catch my hint so that I won't have to take care of the fox myself. If that don't fit 2015 and what's going on in our community, I don't know what does. It's a shame. I mean, but hey, it's a beautiful thing that Aesop had this ability to take these proverbs, and what this shows us is that, man, I mean, it's just so much stuff out here now that I got to go out and get, because now the more I look at these proverbs, because this ain't even a good one. I mean, the last two have been the swollen fox last week. This one, these aren't even good ones, but still, even out of the good ones, we get gems. You know what I'm saying? So now, brother D, I wanted
to hear Sister Janice's point that she was making since I interrupted.
No, you didn't interrupt. You're good. I'm just going to repeat what I said. Aesop's fables with kids. What I used to do with them, again, I spent most of my time in Detroit as a high school teacher. And so I would read portions of Aesop's fable, understanding that a lot of the kids didn't have the requisite comprehension skills to really understand it. And so I began to really understand that you have to meet kids where they are to get them to come where you need them to be. And so I would read portions of the fable. We would talk about it. I would allow the students to, they would oftentimes say, for instance, my dad reminds me of the fox, or my grandmother reminds me. And so whatever person they would put on it for their understanding, I would allow them to do. And then much like what you're talking about, Hatim, at the end of the lesson, the kids would have come up with brief stories that they could take home to the adults in their family, in their community, to teach them something. Whenever I taught kids, I would always tell them, you have to teach this same lesson to your parents, because I believe immensely, having done what I've done in Detroit Public Schools for 20 years, adults are failing children. We're very, very critical of these kids, but these kids are really giving us the best that they have to offer. It's grown-ups who are not they're the damn fox. They're just being foxes. They're just doing what they do, and they think that it's good enough. And very little attention is paid to the fact that these kids are hungry, and the world that they're going to have to navigate is very, very complex. And so if they don't have strong comprehension, they're just going to be they're going to be victims their entire lives. We've got to teach these young people how to think, honestly. Not what to think, but how to think.
How to think is because basically what I'm hearing you say is that we have a generation that is hungry, but yet they've been given nothing in order to break the food down, to cut it up, to carve it up into the edible size pieces where they can actually get nourishment from it and then be able to move on to the next thing.
And not just a generation. It's at this point, it's multiple generations. And that's because the truth of the matter is, and I don't mean this with any malicious intent, the truth of the matter is generations are much closer together now.
Yes, they are.
Than they were when I was a kid. You know, it is not, I just said to somebody this morning, it is not unusual in Detroit to find groups of generations that are literally just 12 years apart. You know, you've got a kid that has a baby at 12. Their mother is 24. The grandmother is you know, so
36, yeah.
We've got a lot of making up to do. And we're really behind the 8 ball multiple generations at this point.
Man, it's a daunting task, but hey, we definitely had the skills, man, because like you said, because the major piece that I picked up from what you're saying is meeting kids
where they are, so that you can take them where you want them to go.
See, and it's like I was listening. It's a dude that come on TED, Sir Richard something, where he talks about like far as because even like with the grades piece, because I'm noticing that it's like we're just rushing the kids through. And we're not even taking time to evaluate where the kids are. So a kid could make it all the way to the 8th grade, but he's been reading on he's only reading at a 4th grade level, and that issue is never addressed.
Right.
So so he can't really comprehend what's going on around him.
Right.
He does a good job.
He does the best he can.
He does. You know what I'm saying? But he would be doing so much better if his reading comprehension was caught up. But rather than stopping him, or you know what I'm saying, we don't want to damage your self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we might need to get rid of grades. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we might need to just start working with young people where they are and get them to a level where it's like, well, majority of people your age are at this level. So this is what we got to work for, because we got the tools where we can evaluate exactly where a young person is reading.
Right.
And we can move them as close as possible to where we need them to be. But no teachers have time for this, because everybody have to get geared up for the test.
Right. Except teaching means you do whatever you have. Teaching really does mean you do whatever you have to. Okay, let me just say this. When you talk about standardized testing, kids who struggle through no fault of their own, and I'm talking about things like a kid doesn't pick who they're born to, a kid doesn't pick what the economics of the community they're born to. Kids don't pick that. And standardized testing really solidifies how we define our kids based on how they perform, giving no thought to where they started. I would always talk to my students about, you have to be able to think your way in and out of situations. That being said, you got to be able to think your way is something that means teachers just can't talk to a group of 35, 40 kids like they're all able to interpret the same way. Teachers really, and it's very complicated, but it is absolutely doable. If you teach from your heart, it is important to you for all of the students to understand all the time. And you have to be, when I say multilingual, I don't necessarily mean a real language, but you got to know where the kids are before you so that you can speak the way that they understand. Because until we do something about comprehension in general, we're not going to be, these standardized tests don't mean anything at all. They're making a lot of very wealthy people wealthier.
Yes,
that's all it's about. It's not about the kids. It's not about their academic development. It's not about their future. It's not about that at all. And so if the other problem is that teaching is not the same profession it used to be. The teaching profession at this point is full of people who have been outsourced from the plant, who have been fired from the police department, who are looking for a job after having served time in the military. We are really
Well, hold on, hey, don't forget that group who might have wanted to be an engineer that couldn't make it.
That couldn't even hack it, and then
Right.
they become a math teacher.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
I mean, you know, they never wanted. They never wanted to be a teacher. That wasn't. Right. This is their fault. I'm doing this because I ain't have nothing else to do.
Fall back instead of doing what's their passion.
Right.
That's right. So I'm very, very afraid for the kids. I'm really, really afraid for these kids. When you listen to the conversations that are happening internationally, we are not preparing our kids to participate in the world that they're going to live in. We're not. And I think we're not because we're not dealing in truth. It doesn't have anything to do with these standardized tests. The question is, do these children know who they are? Do they know what it means to be who they are? Do they know what it means to be who they are and what that's going to mean to other people? These are the kinds of issues that, as a teacher, I dealt with. And, you know.
You said Dale. You ain't retired, did you?
Huh?
You ain't retired, did you?
I left the classroom and moved to central administration because idealistically I thought that if I was able to share all of my successes as a teacher with other teachers, they could employ what I taught them to work with their kids. But it was leaving the classroom that helped me to discover that was very idealistic, that there are not a lot of people who are I'm petrified about the future. And unless you feel like that as an individual, I don't think you bring that to the classroom. You just go through the rote, whatever the damn lesson plan said.
Right. Right.
Going through the motions.
That's right. Instead of paying attention to what really needs to happen. I'm telling you, we're in a whole, and I know y'all know, we're in a whole lot of trouble. A whole lot of trouble. We got kids that can't think themselves out of a paper bag. I mean that literally. I ain't being malicious.
Hey, they've been programmed, and it's sort of like back in slavery days, you know, they used to give us just enough food to eat so that we could survive.
Right.
And basically, that starvation diet, even though it's still kind of going on right now, has moved from a physical standpoint to the mental standpoint.
Right.
We're giving individuals old food that will no longer sustain them, because at least when we was coming up, well, Devin, you in your late 30s, so you might still fit in this group. At least some of the stuff that we used to get. I mean, because like Janice, you come from a Detroit that was very different than it is today. Just like when I graduated from high school, Akron was very different, because you could actually, you yourself went to college because one, it might have been a federal requirement because you come from a family of teachers, but really you didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point in time, when you graduated, there was enough car companies popping off in Detroit.
That's right.
That you could have came right out of high school and started making nice money. Just like in Akron, when I graduated, it was a bunch of rubber plants.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? We're preparing our kids for a world that no longer exists. And nobody, and I'm kind of hurt that nobody, you know what I'm saying? We got a black president, we got all these black, nobody's addressing this issue. Nobody's looking and saying, hey, you know, even in some of these schools where parents are paying big, I ain't gonna say big money, they're paying nice money for these private schools, we're still not preparing our children for the future that's coming. You know what I'm saying? We're not even, because the whole piece is, if they can't think, they're not gonna be able to work. If they, and my fault, there are going to be jobs will not exist in the way that we know of them now.
Yep.
But nobody's talking about that. But I'm going to leave that.
Well, it's funny because I'm working this dance camp for this next 2.5 weeks, and So one of the dance instructors had the kids doing a front roll, and not everybody knew how to do. Well, I say a great majority didn't know how to do a proper front roll. And
How old are the kids?
These are teenagers.
Okay.
So I was thinking, well, when I had physical education, when I was in elementary school and whatnot, tumbling was something that we did. We learned how to do proper somersaults. We learned how to do cartwheels, round off. Even if it wasn't great, you still knew how to tuck your head and whatnot. And so I was thinking, learning how to tumble taught you how to fall. So if you got into a situation where you had lost your balance, instead of sticking your arm out to break it, you knew how to tuck your shoulder and roll and take that force. And so in the same way, the way that our students aren't being prepared for what's coming, they're not being prepared for the fall. They're just going to be sticking their arms out to break them instead of being able to tuck and roll and adapt and adjust to what's coming and actually be able to see it.
Yep. In the system that we have that's been developed, and the fox making or the woodcutter making or the hunter making, whichever metaphor we want to use, in the system that we have created, we make it wrong to fall. So I don't need to teach them how to tuck and roll because I done taught them that it's wrong to fall. You shouldn't fall. Everything you should do should be an A. You're gonna
win at everything you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody gets a prize. Everybody
gets a prize. I mean, all that. I try to keep this show clean, so I won't go off. I save it for Friday. But hold on, I got a caller from Atlanta. Who this on the line?
This is Yancy, my friend.
Whoa! Oh my God! Big Yarn, what's going on, man?
Man, brother, just thought I'd come in and see what's going on.
Thank you. Hey, man. Hey. Oh my God. Well, I wanted to respond to one of your posts today because you be putting up some nice stuff up on Facebook, man. Thank you for being one of those that think on Facebook, man, because you do not know that. Maybe you do know this, but your posts are like a spring water well in a desert of I'm trying not to cuss on this show.
Yeah, a cuss word just almost came out my mouth, but I understand.
Debauchery.
Oh,
foolishness, craziness.
Man, and one day he posted up a book and people got mad because of the book he was reading. Some people, and not everybody, but some people, somebody actually had a negative comment because of the book he was reading. And I'm sitting up here like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, Dr. Janice, it's not the kids.
No, it's not.
It's the adults.
It is.
It's the adults.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, the only thing we could do is prepare the ones that are around us. You know what I'm saying? Keep on fighting the fight. Because like I said, because even when you try to go inside the system, you start finding out that everything is primed to lose. And then on top of that, because in America, the thing that amazes me is that our children, far as self-esteem, they have the highest self-esteem in the world. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to actually thinking, they are at a level that's below everybody else.
So they have a lot of external self-esteem.
Yeah, right.
They don't feel
exactly.
They don't feel good about the inside of themselves. That's what's wrong, because that is the role that adults play in a child's life. And so that's what's missing for our kids. They don't feel good inside out. They feel good outside in.
Outside in.
Yeah.
So
if I got on them Jordans and somebody tells me I'm the man because I got the Jordans on, then I get that warm feeling inside. The truth of the matter is, who are you without them Jordans? And a lot of kids feel like they're nobody.
Yeah. Right. Nobody. Wow.
Yeah, which leads to a whole different thing.
Amen.
Because like I talked to some of the kids at Simba, they're worried about what brand you're wearing. It's like, wow. They say the slave masters used to brand you to say what plantation you belong to. Now you just put the brand on yourself.
You put them on yourself. I mean, but wasn't that the ultimate goal?
Wait a minute, but what's worse now is they pay ridiculous amounts of money to put that brand on it.
Ridiculous amounts of money.
That's even worse. You know, when we were slaves, the brand was free.
Right. Right.
That's because our values aren't taught from communities anymore. Our values aren't taught from home and from our parents and grandparents and communities. They give us our values. So the things they want us to value is mostly materialistic things. So they get when they're pushing their values on us, and now they're our values, we no longer have values. Materialistic stuff is not no kind of value, but it's what America chases after. They put it in.
Right, because we're not in charge of our images.
Right, and I just wanted to tweet what you're saying. It doesn't have value because we know it doesn't have value, but if that's all the kids are taught, that is their value.
And
our value system is just lost.
Worship. But go ahead, Yancey, say that again.
Our value system is just lost. You know, we're tribal people, so our values used to come from tribes. You know, the people around us, the group. So we were taught we were important and what was important, but now TV and society gives us what's important. And you're right, because whether it's wrong or right, that's what they're willing to die for. That's what they're willing to do anything for. So the value system has changed. So we just have to, like you say, try our best with the ones around us to instill proper values. We can't reach millions at a time, but we can reach 2 or 3 at a time and just try to do the best we can. We fighting the uphill, almost a losing battle, but that don't mean we got to give up. But we definitely outnumbered. You know, it's not hard. I go through it with my kids, and I still break down and buy them nice stuff because I know the pressures of school and stuff like that. But I also, you know, try to teach them. But it's hard. You're competing with a system that's way bigger than us. And
has a lot more influence than I think a lot of people are willing to admit. Because we can be doing a grand job as parents, but as parents, our children still go out into the world.
Yeah.
And they still have to. That's right. And
school is one of the harshest places on the planet. School is tough.
Hey, especially middle school.
School. The pressures at school are huge. They in a tough environment, especially as far as peer pressure goes. Because even a strong-minded child it's easy to get sucked into what everybody else is doing or what everybody else is, even sexually. Little girls sexually might not even be wanting to be hoes, but it's so much pressure on them to have sex or do this. Little dudes, so much pressure to be tough where being smart isn't even a cool thing anymore. Like being intelligent ain't cool. Being tough is cool. Being popular is cool. And we all know where popular people end up at the end of the day, but they don't understand that childhood ends. Kids don't understand that childhood is a very short time in your life. So they so caught up on now that 10 years from the line, none of this stuff is even going to matter in the real world. None of this stuff that you value or think is important is going to matter in 10 years. None of it. But they can't see past that, though.
Yeah, check the play on the words. We was talking about being cool. And so I know as human beings, if I go in and I touch somebody that sleep and they're cool, chances are that they're not alive.
You're dead.
So being tough is cool. It's being something that's dead. Versus vice versa. Trying to challenge our kids to even think in terms of that. Like, I don't want you to be cool. I want you to be. I want you to be alive. I want you to be vibrant. I want you to be on fire about it.
I'm fresh home from prison. I've only been home from prison maybe 6 months. And when I tell you, brother, it is a very, very, very sad thing to see these young guys' mindsets on life because we're trying to instill values in the people that really don't care. I mean, these guys have no sense of anything. They're so far away from feelings and emotions. Like, I got a house full of kids. I kiss and hug my kids on the daily, little boys too, because these guys are so far from emotion. Like, they really don't. It's easy to try to say what they should be doing, and these dudes don't feel emotion like we do. Their moral capacity is nothing like ours. I mean, they're far, far, far detached from reality. And it's sad because
we got kids younger than 10. Listen, we got kids younger than, I don't know about where y'all at, but in Detroit, we have kids younger than 10 who I have decided they are already suffering from PTSD, from what's going on at the what's going on in the community. There are a lot of, the vast majority of children in Detroit public schools have somebody inside, have somebody who has recently come out from inside. And so in places like Detroit, we're dealing with the normalization of both ignorance and violence. And you have to teach the kids you have to teach the kids truth, because when they come to you, what's normalized to them is what's real. And so if I got a kid whose dad is locked up, whose uncles have been locked up, whose brothers are selling dope, I can't talk to them about morals like I do the kid who still goes to church 6 days a week.
Exactly.
Very different conversation.
That's like walking into Iraq to a war zone and telling a kid that violence isn't right. But if violence is all they see every day, all day, then this is what's bred into them.
If all the kids know violence, you got to talk to them on that platform.
Kids talk. You sit around. It's a young black male. The majority of young black male in the urban neighborhood, jail is a normal conversation, as opposed to a little white kid in the suburbs. Jail never crosses their conversation or mind. They talk about college and other stuff, but little young black kids, you're right, talk about going to jail like it's nothing. Like that's just expected part of life. Like, okay,
and
jail.
The boys attach it to machismo. The boys attach it to the definition of who they are as young men. Mm-hmm. And so, like in places like Detroit, if you've never been arrested, you ain't shit. You a punk ass motherfucker. You get. I seen a post on Facebook one day. You get more respect when you come home from jail than when you graduate from college. And boy,
oh my God,
that's exactly right.
Oh my God,
that is the truth.
I mean, and like I said, man, you want to see what people worship, check what they value. You know what I'm saying? Check. You want to see what people worship, check what they value. We worship money and hard times. You know, right. And you know what I'm saying? And we specialize in making them look good.
That's right.
We make them look good. You know what I'm saying? And it used to be a point in time where like OGs would come out of jail and be like, yo, homie, that ain't where you want to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now, because like you a dying breed, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and a lot of those that's able to tell to you, they're dying breed, and
they don't.
It's to a point now where they don't even listen. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have. How can I put it? Because men wasn't involved in their life when they was younger. They don't have fear. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no
if anything, that's the biggest problem. They don't fear death. They don't fear prison. They don't fear these young dudes. The difference when I was growing up, I think this is one of the biggest problems in the streets. That when I was growing up, when we was young dudes, older dudes would still snatch us up. Whether they was doing right or wrong, they would still snatch us up and give us game. Like, okay, even if you're doing this, you got to have more. You can't do it like this, this, and this. Older guys are not snatching up younger guys anymore because they're scared of them. These young guys are killers. They are out here really killing. So these older guys don't even deal with the younger guys in no kind of way. These younger guys are just out here running wild. And then with these gangs have taken over so bad now that they're blindly following ignorance. You know what I'm saying? They are blindly loyal to something that don't love you. These dudes is loyal to this stuff. They're loyal to something they know nothing about, something that's not reciprocating the love. The love is not coming back to them. The love and loyalty that they putting in, they're not getting back out. But this is what they think they're supposed to do. But the people that are ahead of these gangs are they're using them. I mean, it's nothing short of that. They're just using them. You got a bunch of people that's going to do whatever you say. And instead of guiding them in a way, like we used to go through big stuff in prison because, you know, I'm Muslim. So we would always get into it with the gangs and stuff and try to talk to the young dudes like, man, that ain't the route you want to go, stuff like that. But these dudes are blindly loyal to the death. They're going to kill about it in a heartbeat. But the guys who have the power to guide them right, misuse that power, just like most people in positions of power misuse their power. That isn't just gangs. Most people in positions of power find a way to abuse their power, and these little dudes is lost, man. I still go. I'm still in the neighborhood. You know, I don't do nothing I used to do, but I still go out there. I talk to them, shoot the shit, talk to them, try to, you know, tell them, but it'd be like talking to a brick wall. The only reason I'm even allowed to even be able to go have a conversation is because who I am to them. And it is not who I am to me or to my family, but to them, my name still hold weight. So I can get a 15-minute conversation to them.
And keep leveraging that, whatever it takes. This is my belief. No matter how you establish the reputation you establish with young people, if you have the ear of young people, use that to grow them. In Detroit, the vast majority of these young people, like I said before, somebody in their family close to them is locked up. And so when these politicians, when these people in power, when these leaders just want to lambaste all people who have ever gone to jail, I have to help students I work with understand that all human life has value. And that you can learn, like my father taught me, you can learn something from a drunk.
That's right.
So because young people, because we know they're confused, oftentimes they do give much love to people who, for example, have done time. I just need my people who have done time I understand that many people who have done time want young people to understand you don't want to do what I did. But I also need for them to recognize that in a world where ignorance is normalized, they can leverage the fact that they've done time to assist in moving the kids forward. Because kids want to listen to those folks more than they want to listen to a preacher or a teacher. And I mean that.
You're absolutely right. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Plus the consistency of you just being there. I realize that sometimes it seems like they feel, it seems like they not paying attention. It's kind of like water running over a rock. The rock may be jagged at first, but as the water continues to pass over it, it starts to smooth it out. It changes it.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, but look at your opposition. You're around them 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes an hour, telling them all this stuff, but the other 20 hours a day, they in the battlefield. These kids, they're in the battlefield. These kids are in a real battlefield. Their day-to-day actions and thought process are not what we think about on the day-to-day. These kids waking up thinking about killing and dying at 12 and 13 years old. That's not even how can you expect them to handle and process and still try to stay on the right track when they got to walk outside and really think about living and dying? You know, you 12 years old, we think about playing with toys and going outside and climbing a tree, as opposed to a 12-year-old who got to go outside with a gun and everybody you hang around is dangerous. So that's a lot to compete with. You know what I'm saying? Right. The little time we have, even if it's a lot of time, it's still nothing compared to what they have to deal with the rest of the day, every single day. So it's not easy to compete with. That's why I think we have to have more programs and things like that to where these kids can really find a way to get away. It's not going to be all of them, but we can save some of them. We need to schools, programs, after school programs. We need to give them something to do, somewhere to go. A lot of these kids are scared. They just don't know how to be scared because you're not allowed to be scared. Fear is something that you're not allowed to show. Fear is a weakness. People prey on fear. So these kids are scared but don't even know how to express being afraid or express, they don't know other way. So they act out in aggression. They act out in the way they think they're supposed to act out. So we competing with something that's real hard.
Now this is where the pieces. Now even because but
Hatem, this brings it all full circle because what you're trying to do, you're trying to obtain a physical structure,
right?
Where not only you have a place to interact with young people, but young people have a physical destination they know they can go to get what it is they need. Because I'm clear, young people know it doesn't matter what their socioeconomic status is. Young people can feel when there's more.
Right.
And so if you're able to get that complex, dude or that young lady might be in the midst of something that is super ignorant. But at the end of it, or when they've had enough, if there's a place, a geographic location where they can go to get some affirmation, to get some encouragement, to get something to eat, to take a shower, to just be able to sit, then that's what they're going to do, because it's human nature.
Seek that out. I agree. Because the reason I looked at that was.
Well, what are you trying to do, Tim?
Now, one of the things, because this is, I was doing one of my rants, and I walked out in front of the apartment complex that I live in, and I looked back and I saw about 100 apartment buildings
boarded up.
No, that was a different one.
Oh,
I just found that one. I just finally realized what the hell I was running by after I had this deja vu as I was sitting in front of my building. I said, damn, we as black people been talking about communities all this damn time, and we've been in real estate. I haven't been in real estate. A lot of dudes I've been, we all got caught up in this 2008 bubble, and only one person out of the 10 people that I was doing real estate with bought an apartment complex. He didn't keep it that long. But my thought is, what if you was to buy an apartment complex and basically set it up as a community? Because it is a community within the city. You see what I'm saying? Because the piece is, if you control it, you can control who lives in it. Because as long as you ain't doing the Section 8 and all that, they could come with all the federal shit. This is a private place. I only got certain people living here. And you build up a community. You're looking for those families that want to move in. So now we got men, and we got a place where we can actually train to protect the neighborhood. So when those kids that you're talking about gotta want to come to a safe place, long as they ain't come bringing no bullshit up in there. Excuse me.
Bullshit, yeah. Yeah.
You come up here, you get a respite while you up in here. And if you are acting right, we can help you buy it, because the piece is, I don't want to own it. What I want to do is be able to purchase it and then turn it over to that community, because now you actually have a community. So I would start looking on the internet, and I start seeing apartment complexes that they're selling between, I've seen one for $850,000 all the way up to $3 million. Then I've seen one with 120 units for $5 million. I'm looking at this shit, and I'm sitting up here like, I know that right now, with a nigga with 55 cents in his pocket, that's a lot of dough.
But you know my point on that. That's not far fetched. That's actually obtainable. If that was a goal, if that was a goal amongst the group, that's obtainable. Because you say the right things to the right people, and as long as if you have an idea that makes sense, there's plenty of people with disposable money, man. The black dollar is still a powerful dollar. It's just a wasted dollar. There's still plenty of people with disposable money. I'm around a lot of them on a daily. That's actually not far-fetched. That makes perfect sense. We need safe places, and if it works in one place, stuff like that will start happening all over America. People will start doing it if they see that it works. You just have to make one work.
Because, dude, I start thinking about, think about this. If you got 100 units, how many kids in there need child care? There's a child care business. You need people to manage that. I'm talking about taking it to the point where we training people on how to work with solar cells and stuff, so we could put solar cells on top. I'm talking about building a self-sufficient community using the people that's in the residence. And it's like, and like I said, the only issue is, I would like to raise the money, but I don't want to rush into it, because what I want to be able to do is get the property and start renovating it, and then start having enough time to select the proper people to put inside.
Instead of just trying to get people to move in and recoup the money. And
that's what, because this is where they got us with the 2008 shit. All the people that was hustling the real estate at that time was more about getting the real estate so that we could get the money, rather than getting the real estate so that we could build communities. None of us was buying houses basically on the same street. We wasn't focusing what we was doing. We had the right idea, you know what I'm saying? We had the right idea, but we had no guides at it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, I'm looking at these, and I ran by one just yesterday, and I looked at that, and I said, that one right there, with that big old backyard, got a big backyard. I said, that one can't be no more than $550,000 to $850,000. I'm sitting up here like, oh man. And like you said, knowing that there's people with disposable income, because the piece I'm saying is, I'm not even asking people to donate. I'm saying purchase. I got cups, I got books, I got all types of stuff, and there's other people that are producing stuff that if we have companies, we don't have to take donations. We can go and raise the money and purchase that shit straight out.
Ourselves. Yeah.
Ourselves. Because, because like I said, man, you go through Facebook, like, for example, Dr. Umar Johnson raised $350,000 for a school because, I was looking at that and I salute that, even with all the drama that's going on with that. But I'm looking at it, I said, damn, what would happen if we control the community? If you got 100 units, you control in that area. You have sway on the politics in that area. You have sway in that school, in that school district in that area. You have hundreds of thousands of dollars that's flowing in and out of your apartment complex on a daily basis because people is going to work. What services can you offer? How many businesses can you spark just because you have a concentrated group of people in one place? And I know some people are gonna say, well, we don't want all the people in one place because they're gonna come roll on them. But my piece is, if they're gonna roll on us, they're gonna roll on us regardless. And if I'm gonna get rolled on, I want to make sure I got some soldiers with me. So if the only thing I got to do is to get my soldiers is go knock on next door, I feel a lot safer with my kids. Because I can't even let my kids go out and play. Like all of us are old enough on this conversation to remember being able to go out and disappear and play all day and return home.
Yeah, you can't let your kids do that no more.
Oh no. You know what I'm saying? There's no consequences.
I live in a really nice neighborhood. My kids don't leave my backyard without me. And I live in a nice neighborhood. It's just so unpredictable and dangerous out here. It is sad.
There's no repercussions. Sad. So I ain't mean to get on that, but that's the piece. That's what I'm thinking about right now. So
yeah, all right, appreciate it. I just wanted to know. I ain't mean to veer the conversation that way.
Oh no, dude. Listen,
I need stuff like this. I need to be able to talk to people who I don't get this every day.
Hey, dude, because like I said, I've been doing this for a long time.
What's your name on Facebook?
Yancey Carter, Yancey Carter. Yeah, I don't get these type of conversations on a day-to-day basis, and I seek them. I try.
I'm gonna send you a friend request.
Yes, ma'am.
So, man, Yancey saved my life. Man, I'm just like, your post today, man, I lost it, and I ran out of time because I was going to send out a shot when you was talking about doing stuff for people. Because I was going to put on there, man, you also help import people's families and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because, because you have always done, that comes from having those proper relationships. And a lot of these kids don't have those proper relationships. And I want them, and what I see is, I see a generation of soldiers that are not being guided, dude. This is a generation of warriors, man. And because
they being guided, they just being misguided.
Right.
Yeah, they being guided. They being misguided.
So wait a minute, you the head of a family of all these beautiful girls?
Yes, ma'am. Extended family. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
They're beautiful.
Thank you.
Is Javion up there with you?
Yep, I ain't letting her come back. She finna live with me. I hope you say yeah.
Okay. All right,
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
All right.
And you might be able to help influence the decision. Okay, I definitely accept it. What's your name?
Janice Rowley.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, I'm about to fix the kids something to eat. I appreciate y'all time. I tell them anytime you got these things going on, I'll definitely be a part of them, my friend.
All right, I'll send you. I'll start sending you a request because I got. I do a show on Tuesday and Wednesday like this. Freestyle Friday is a little bit wild. You know what I'm saying? It's more freestyle, and we could talk about the news and stuff. But on Tuesday at 10 o'clock, I do folk tales for grown folks. Because actually we got into this discussion because we was talking about a folk tale, and tomorrow I do one on proverbs and quotes.
At 10 o'clock?
At 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to send out, because now I see what happened because I sent out that nice looking piece.
That was sweet.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, I looked at it and said, let me go and see what they talking about. Right. But it's a good thing because I have, it'll grow. It'll grow, Tim. I invite a couple of friends on, and the more people involved, the easier, things we can come up with, man. We gotta
exactly, and that's the piece, man.
Because,
and if you and anybody that is in, because Janice, I know you swore off Columbus forever, but we
me too. Me too.
I might be there in a couple of weeks, I tell.
Me too.
Because we're doing a camping trip on September 11th. So we got enough camping equipment. My hustle is good at everything but money. We've been able to. September 11th, we're doing a camping trip at a place called Alum Creek State Park.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be a nice weekend where people come to. It's basically fun.
Okay.
So come ready to kick it. Be ready to play with kids and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna have a real good time. But the piece that I'm trying to do is we're trying to do more camping trips, because these don't cost that much money, because we could rent the group campsite. We got enough camping equipment for 60 to 100 people. The more people we get,
that's dope.
The more camping equipment we could get. Because right now we got enough tents for 60 people. You know what I'm saying? If we get enough people to register in advance, we could go on and get we'll get the tents. You know what I'm saying? But the piece is
I gotta I won't be able to make. I got a fight. We got a fight in Vegas on September 12th, so I won't be able to make that. But I'll start coming. You ain't been seeing? Yeah, you ain't reading the whole post. I caught a major blessing. Major blessing, Tim. Major blessing. I'm extremely thankful. A friend of mine, Muslim guy I've been dealing with, for a while. He owns a boxing management company, Snappers Boxing Management. He managed Roy Jones, Chaz Witherspoon, a lot of, good fighters. Then he got a few fighters undefeated. Whatever. He got a good camp. They offered him a job. He was in Baltimore. They offered him a job to come to Atlanta, started him off at $500,000 a year, $1 million a year budget to promote, to do the fights and stuff. He hired me as his vice president without knowing nothing about the business. Just hired me because he said he wanted me out the streets for good. I'm happy. I'm working, and I'm happy.
So now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to end this call because it's getting late, and I know everybody got something to do. So I'm going to thank everybody for joining me. This is Brother Hatim. I was joined by Sister Janice Rowley. I was joined by the Traveler, also known as Brother D. And I was also joined by Yancey Carter. I want to thank all of y'all for joining me. I'm going to download this and re-upload it on my Spreaker radio station. So if you want to share it with your friends, I will be posting it back up on Facebook. So feel free to share the conversation. And we will be back up tomorrow at 10. It don't have to be this long. You can just drop in and listen to it, because what we do is we're going to do the same thing we did with the folk tales with Proverbs. So I got Proverbs coming from Albert Einstein, a Chinese proverb, and of course an African proverb. We're going to break those down. We're going to try to apply that wisdom. We're going to do that wisdom mind and try to apply that wisdom to our lives and to what's going on in the world. And with that, I say peace. Y'all have a great night.
Post it up on
y'all too. Okay.
I don't know how to post it up in pages. I'm still working on it. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay. I'll send it to me. I'll put it on my page.
All right, cool.
Okay, love you.
Love you too.
All right.
Bye-bye.